We are not martyrs. We are not America's social safety net. I knew I was a troublemaker when I was 13 years old and I led my first march called PRISM, the Prejudice Reduction Interested Students Movement. I was a young brown girl living in a town that didn't look like me. And, I was bullied at school. My mother was made fun of because she wore a sari at the local Kmart. And it was hard. And one day I, got beat up after school because somebody called me, a racial slur and challenged me to a fight, and I got horribly beat up. But after that, it really inspired me, ironically, how violence inspires somebody to, to go into activism and to make a change in my community and to educate people about other cultures, about other races, about being inclusive. A trouble that I experienced was I desperately wanted to be a mom. And I had a really hard time getting pregnant. I went through almost a decade of fertility challenges, had more IVFs, more miscarriages, more DNCs than I'd like to count. And I always knew that I was going to be a mom. And, the fact that I couldn't have a baby was even harder because my life was surrounded by girls, as the founder and CEO of Girls Who Code. And all I wanted to do was like dedicate my life to making the world a better place for women and girls. And I wanted my own girl so I could teach her and I could help build the world or the life that I wanted to see out there for so many other girls. And so I got through it by never losing faith. I got through it by advocating for myself. And I've also now gotten through it by helping countless other women who are having fertility challenges. I had my second child via surrogate. And I know when I had a baby via surrogate, I didn't know who to talk to or who to ask. I had so many questions. And so much of going through my miscarriages and my surrogacy, I did it alone. And I didn't want any other woman who wanted to have a baby or who was going through IVF or going through miscarriages or was thinking about surrogacy to have to do it alone. So I get, random emails, DMs, LinkedIn messages from women all across the country who are like, I don't know you, but I know you've talked about this and I'm really struggling. Can I talk to you? And, I talk to, it feels like a handful of women every week just to guide them and tell them that they're not alone and to share with them, some of what I went through. I think sometimes like God gives you so much pain and he gives pain to those who can handle it. And I think so much of why I went through this is to be able to hopefully protect others from having to go through that same amount of pain and suffering that I did. Inspired by moms, especially in this moment in post pandemic where I know moms are crushed. So many women had to supplement their paid labor for unpaid labor. We are broken. We are in crisis. When we started the pandemic, the majority of the working population was female. And now we're back to where we were in 1989. And even now, 2 years after the pandemic, we're still missing almost over 1 million women from the workforce. Half of our daycare centers are still shut down. We're always looking around the corner for the next variant that's going to come and put our kids in harm's way. And, we live in a country that doesn't have paid leave, that doesn't have affordable childcare, that fights against flexibility and remote work, even though we know that moms and parents need it. So I am so moved by, the 40 million plus mothers, America's mothers that just get up and fight another day. And that now are not just out there fighting for their children, but learning how to also stand up and fight for themselves. We are not martyrs. We are not America's social safety net. We do deserve respect and dignity, and we deserve support from our government, from our workplaces, and from our partners. And so I'm inspired by this burgeoning moms movement that we're building and that we're seeing grow. The one message that I would want to share is don't let them break you. I think, especially in this moment, I know I'm struggling as we're entering a period of forced birth where we may be in for the next 10 years, where everything we fought for is being taken from us, where you feel like not only do you not have control over your bodies, but you just don't know what's coming down the pike, what other decisions going to be made to relegate us even further from being second-class citizens. And so it's exhausting and it's tiring and it feels like you don't have a say. And I think that what I really feel we have to do right now is rest and fight, rest and fight, rest and fight, rest and fight. And we have to never, ever, ever, ever give up. Because I think that like this may be the moment that changes everything. You know, we may have had to get to this breaking point in order for us to get it all. Not only regain control over our bodies, but get paid leave, get affordable childcare, get flexibility, redesign workplaces, stop trying to, tell women that they're broken rather than the system being broken. For us to basically recognize that we deserve dignity and respect, and we're going to fight for it. And like, don't count us out. Don't think that you can trample over us and that we'll just lay there on the ground. I was watching like the Roe v. Wade movie on Netflix, and it was like just a flashback, and I'm like, no, 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 this can't be. It's like almost like it's happening exactly again, and that's just it's rare. I feel like in some ways, right? For you, I don't know. But I think it's a sign that we have got to. And in many ways, I don't know. I haven't finished watching it, but I think that they are terrified of us. And I think we're almost like I feel like a lioness in wait right now. And I think we all are. So it's coming.